Hi there, Robin here, and in this video we're going to be talking about the Pyle PCAU48BT. This is a stereo power amplifier with USB, FM, SD, and Bluetooth. Yes, that is a mouthful because there is a lot of features in this one box. What you are looking at is 2 times 100 watts max, so that's probably more like 2 times 60 watts RMS. Now, very exciting. Headphone jacks, and like I said, Bluetooth, so you don't necessarily have to connect anything to this except for your phone, tablet, or TV, whatever has a Bluetooth option on it. You also get an aux 3.5 connection input in the front and RCA plugs in the back. Now remember, this is, I'm calling it the version 2 because they've added FM tuner to it and they've upgraded the Bluetooth to version 4.0. So those are really good things. Now, as well as all of that, you also get a new upgraded remote control. So we're going to cover what the remote control does on the unit because the unit is, of course, analog with a digital display. Something else they've actually taken the time to upgrade is the manual. Now, the manual is not just, here's a list of all the features in it or a very simple breakdown. They actually get into a little bit more details than that, which is really nice to have in a manual. Now, to cover the overall features in the front, of course, we do have the on-off switch. Here's again our 3.5. Here is the 1/4-inch headphone jack. It's stereo, and we do have bass and treble control knobs on the front of it. Our master volume output control right here. Then we have 4 buttons. This is where our digital control panel is. We have a mode button. If we turn the volume down, we can go to Bluetooth, our tuner, back to auxiliary. Now, the auxiliary is shared between the 3.5 and RCA, so you're using one or the other, not both at the same time. Also, if you want to use all the functions on the remote control, these functions are directly related to what's going on here. So regardless if we're using our Bluetooth functions or our built-in MP3 player, that's what this remote is going to control. If we want to control volume with this, we're going to first choose what our maximum volume is going to be on our unit. Then we're going to be able to control the volume up and down either from the front of the display here or simply by choosing those controls on the remote control itself. As for sound quality on the unit, they do really well. Normally you're going to be putting this on anything from 5, 6.5, 8-inch speakers. You're not going to go bigger. I'm not going to say run a pair of 10s or 12s or 15s off of this, and definitely not a subwoofer. It's a hobby amp. It's an amp that you're going to have in your den, your office, maybe you're in your garage, or something for the backyard to run your outdoor speakers. That's what this is really all about, and it does it really well. With 4.0 as the version for Bluetooth, there's no compression on the audio itself, and your range is going to be roughly around 30 feet. They do give you meters in the front. Note that it starts at -15, -10, -5, then there's 0. Now, what I've learned is because of the digital volume options on it, your maximum volume may not always be very high. Your maximum volume will probably fall between 4 and 6 on the actual dial. Now, that doesn't mean you're not getting all the volume out of the unit. It's going to be extremely loud. It just means that when you add up the digital volume against the master volume, sometimes it's proportionally not the same. So, again, don't feel uncomfortable that, I've gotten only to here and that's as loud as it goes. That's okay. Now on the back side, you'll notice that on top now we do have an FM antenna. This does come included when you buy it. So you just basically unravel this and poke it in here, and that's it. Nothing more complicated than that. We don't want to mess around with this. This is our voltage selector, 110 to 220. So if you do have to travel with it, or you're setting this overseas somewhere where they use 220, well, then you can just switch it over. 2 speaker inputs. The unit is balanced set to run at 4 or 8 ohms. The ratings in the actual manual are set at 4 ohms for distortion, so this way to give you a better point of reference. If you're going to run more than 2 speakers, then you should use an actual speaker selector with an impedance control on it. That means that it's not going to overload the actual system. Here we have our RCA input options. Again, these are lined up with the 3.5 in the front. And this little antenna right here, this is for your Bluetooth, and it can be up or down. With version 4.0, we have no compression in the audio, and the range is going to be roughly around 30 feet. You may get more, you may get less. It all depends on where you're actually going to have this unit set up. So I'll show you how the actual unit works. We'll bring it back around to the front. Remember, this is completely in a metal box. So it's not all plastic, it's actually all metal, and it does have some weight to it, amazingly enough. That's pretty impressive. So again, if we want to use the actual unit, I can do it one of two ways for me here, of course. We can use Bluetooth off the phone, but we can also just use a USB stick, because that's an option. We do have an SD slot and a USB stick, and I'm going to plug that right into the front here. It'll automatically kick into USB mode. And there we go. The volume's already on the actual speaker. And what I did there was I held down the previous button, which controlled the digital volume. So we can do it again, bring it back up. And it's as simple as that. I mean, it's not a complicated unit. They are extremely affordable products, so people tend to use these in all kinds of places. If you're looking for an amp to run, like I said before, anything under 8-inch, so 8-inch, 6.5, 6, 5, 5 1/4, anything like that, this is a great way to make that happen. So that pretty much wraps up this video for today. Again, I hope this helped you in your buying decision. You've been looking at the PCAU48BT. I'm calling it the version 2 because all the models out there now come with all the new upgrades on it. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Maybe we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.